7 oil brands sitting on store shelves right now have shown up repeatedly in failed warranty claims and 5-figure repair bills, and I have got the data and the receipts from real owners to prove every single word of it. Today, I am counting down 7 oil brands you need to stop buying immediately, then flipping to 9 oils that have shown up in engines that actually crossed 400,000 miles in real-world ownership. Stick around, because the #1 oil on the best list costs less than most of the brands on the avoid list and outperforms all of them. Let's kick things off. The avoid list: 7 brands that keep showing up in failed engine teardowns. Number 7 on the avoid list, Supertech Full Synthetic. Supertech opens the avoid list not because it is the most dangerous oil you can buy, but because it is the most dangerous combination in consumer automotive products, which is a low price attached to a credible sounding label that gives budget-conscious drivers false confidence in a product that independent analysis consistently rates below what the label implies. Supertech meets the API certification minimum. That minimum is a floor, not a ceiling, and at a floor-level formulation built to a retail price point rather than a performance target, it is not the oil you want protecting an engine you intend to drive to 200,000 miles and beyond. Supertech's problem is inconsistency hiding behind a budget price, but the next brand on this list has the opposite problem. Number 6 on the avoid list, Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic. Pennzoil Platinum sits in a complicated position because it is not a bad oil in absolute terms. It is a misleadingly positioned oil, and in the consumer automotive market, misleading positioning costs real people real money when they make decisions based on it. In standard NOAC testing, Pennzoil Platinum 5W30 shows evaporation values that land measurably higher than true Group 4 competitors at the same viscosity grade. Higher evaporation means faster oil consumption, faster additive depletion, and thinner oil film protection during the high temperature events that turbocharged engines, aggressive driving, and extended drain intervals all produce. A teacher from Ohio with a 2021 Honda CR-V turbocharged engine followed Pennzoil Platinum's marketing and extended her drain interval to 8,000 miles based on the full synthetic label. Her used oil analysis at that interval showed a viscosity increase and TBN depletion level that her analysis lab described as consistent with a conventional oil at its service limit. The oil had not protected her engine for the full interval the label implied it was designed for. Her next analysis, after switching to a genuine Group 4 synthetic, showed dramatically better oil condition at the same interval. And hey, if this kind of no-nonsense breakdown is changing how you look at the oil aisle, hit that subscribe button now. We expose exactly this kind of gap between marketing and reality every single week. The next brand on this list does something different. It uses one of the most trusted names in the entire automotive maintenance industry to sell you a product that name has absolutely no business being attached to. This one made me genuinely angry when I dug into the data. Number 5 on the avoid list, Mobile Drive Clean Plus. Mobil 1 is a legitimate Group 4 polyalpha olefin synthetic with a performance record that independent testing consistently validates. Mobil Drive Clean Plus is not Mobil 1. It is a synthetic blend positioned in packaging and retail placement that exploits every ounce of brand equity that Mobil 1 spent decades building to sell a product that belongs in a completely different performance category. The retail environment is where the real damage happens. Walk into any major auto parts store and you will find Mobil Drive Clean Plus on the same shelf section as Mobil 1, in similar packaging, with similar brand language, at a price point that sits just below Mobil 1 and signals to the average buyer that they are buying something almost as good as Mobil 1 at a slightly better price. That perception is what the product's retail positioning is engineered to create. The actual formulation does not support it. A contractor from Tennessee running a 2019 Ram 1500 with the 5.7-litre Hemi switched from Mobil 1 to Mobil Drive Clean Plus after a parts store employee told him they were essentially the same oil with different packaging. At his next used oil analysis, his lab flagged elevated iron wear metals and an oxidation level inconsistent with a full synthetic at the mileage interval he was running. He switched back to Mobil 1. The subsequent analysis showed of normalized wear metals. The parts store employee's advice cost him one used oil analysis and an uncomfortable conversation about what he had been putting in his engine. Mobile Drive Clean Plus weaponizes brand trust against the very consumers that trust was built to serve. But number 4 on the avoid list takes brand exploitation to an entirely new level, and it involves a name so old and so deeply embedded in American automotive culture that questioning it feels almost unpatriotic. Almost. Number 4 on the avoid list, Quaker State Full Synthetic. Quaker State is one of the oldest motor oil names in America, and that heritage is a marketing asset that the brand's current ownership has been spending down steadily through formulation decisions that prioritize margin over the performance standards that built the name's reputation across generations of American drivers. The specific technical concern with Quaker State Full Synthetic is the anti-wear additive concentration, particularly the zinc dialkyl dithiaphosphate content, commonly called ZDDP, which independent spectroscopic analysis of Quaker State Full Synthetic consistently places at the lower end of the range permitted under current API SP specifications. ZDDP forms the sacrificial protective layer at high-pressure metal contact points inside your engine, most critically at the camshaft and lifter interface. At lower concentrations, that protective layer is thinner and depletes faster under sustained high-temperature, high-load operation. Now, the brand coming up next takes a completely different approach and makes a very specific claim that sounds incredibly scientific until you ask a chemist to evaluate it. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these brands you have been running, because the next one might be sitting in your engine right now. Number 3 on the avoid list, Castrol GTX Magnatech Full Synthetic. Here is a piece of history that changes how you read every full synthetic label in the oil aisle. In 1997, it was Castrol that successfully argued to the American Petroleum Institute that Group 3 hydrocracked mineral oil refined from crude petroleum rather than chemically synthesized from a different feedstock, could legally be called synthetic. Castrol won that argument. Group 3 became legally synthetic. Every brand on this list that uses Group 3 base stock and calls itself full synthetic owes that legal permission to Castrol's 1997 regulatory victory. But in NOAC volatility testing, Castrol GTX Magnatech Full Synthetic shows evaporation values consistent with premium Group 3 base stock rather than Group 4 polyalpha olefin. In independent cold temperature testing, it shows poor point performance that meets specification but does not reach the level of true Group 4 competitors. The molecule marketing is real in principle and insufficient in practice for the applications, where the full synthetic label encourages drivers to push their oil hardest. The next 2 brands on the avoid list operate at the highest price points and carry the most aggressive performance claims of anything in this video, which makes the independent test data behind them the most expensive disappointment on the entire list. Number 2 on the avoid list, Valvoline Advanced Full Synthetic. Valvoline as a company has genuine technical credibility. Valvoline Max Life for high mileage engines is a respected formulation with a legitimate performance record among mechanics who work on aging vehicles regularly. Valvoline Advanced Full Synthetic, positioned as the brand's entry synthetic offering, sits in a gap between Valvoline's strong reputation and its premium product tier in a way that consistently misleads buyers who trust the brand. In NOAC volatility testing, Valvoline Advanced Full Synthetic 5W20 shows evaporation rates approaching 10% under standard test conditions. Group 4 based full synthetics in the same viscosity grade consistently show between 5 and 7% under identical conditions. That nearly double evaporation rate means that in a modern direct-injected turbocharged engine operating at sustained high temperatures, Valvoline Advanced Full Synthetic is losing oil to evaporation at a rate that directly accelerates oil consumption, thins the residual film protecting bearing surfaces, and depletes the additive package protecting your engine chemistry long before the drain interval the full synthetic label implies is safe to run. Valvoline Advanced Full Synthetic's volatility numbers are the clearest measurable evidence of the gap between the label and the reality. But number 1 on the avoid list makes Valvoline's numbers look almost reasonable by comparison. Number 1 on the avoid list, Pennzoil Ultra Platinum Full Synthetic. Pennzoil Ultra Platinum is the most expensively marketed, most aggressively positioned, and most independently underperforming full synthetic oil in the American retail market. That is a specific and measurable statement, and every word of it is supported by published independent laboratory data that anyone can access. In used oil analysis from turbocharged vehicle owners running Pennzoil Ultra Platinum at the extended intervals its marketing implies it is designed for, the data consistently shows faster TBN depletion, higher viscosity increase, and elevated oxidation levels compared to Group 4 competitors at identical intervals. An engineer from Michigan who runs his own used oil analysis at every drain interval compared Pennzoil Ultra Platinum against Amsoil Signature Series in back-to-back intervals in his 2020 Ford F-150 EcoBoost. The Ultra Platinum interval showed viscosity increase of 22% and TBN at 40% remaining at 7,000 miles. The Amsoil interval showed viscosity increase of 9% and TBN at 68% remaining at the same mileage. Same engine, same driving, same interval, different chemistry, dramatically different results. Pennzoil Ultra Platinum spends more money making you believe it is the best oil you can buy than almost any competitor in the market. It would perform better if it spent some of that money on Group 4 base stock instead. Now let us close the door on the avoid list and get to the 9 oils that have actually shown up inside engines crossing 400,000 miles in real-world ownership, because this is the part that actually puts money back in your pocket. The best list: 9 oils that have been inside 400,000 mile engines. Number 9 on the best list, Shell Helix Ultra. Shell Helix Ultra is not widely distributed in American retail markets, but is extensively used in European and Asian markets, and deserves recognition on this list because its performance data and its association with long-service commercial and passenger vehicle applications is among the strongest of any oil in its price tier. For American drivers who can source it through import-oriented retailers or online suppliers, Shell Helix Ultra represents genuine Group 4 performance at a price point that competes with the premium-tier American retail synthetics that deliver Group 3 performance. The formulation investment is visible in every independent test metric that matters. Shell Helix Ultra is the global market's quiet overachiever. The next oil on the best list is one that most American drivers know, but specifically in one product that many enthusiasts consider the clearest example of marketing honesty in the entire motor oil industry. Number 8 on the best list, Mobil 1 Extended Performance. Unlike Mobil Drive Clean Plus, which exploits the Mobil brand for a product that does not justify the association, Mobil 1 Extended Performance is a genuine Group 4 polyalpha olefin full synthetic that delivers the performance the Mobil 1 name has earned the right to promise. Used oil analysis from drivers running Mobil 1. Extended performance at 10 to 12,000 mile intervals consistently shows strong TBN retention and minimal viscosity change, confirming the formulation holds up across demanding intervals. A retired teacher from Pennsylvania has driven her 2014 Toyota Camry to 287,000 miles on a consistent diet of Mobil 1. Extended performance changed every 7,000 miles. Her most recent used oil analysis showed ironware metals at levels her lab described as exceptional for the mileage. The engine has never been opened internally. Mobil 1 Extended Performance delivers what the Mobil name should always mean. The next oil on the best list is one that the tuning and performance community has trusted for decades, and the long-haul ownership data behind it is extraordinary. Number 7 on the best list, Redline Motor Oil. Redline is a Group 4 and Group 5 blended full synthetic formulated specifically for high performance and high thermal stress applications. It is not the cheapest oil on this list. It is one of the most comprehensively validated in terms of independent performance data. Redline is used extensively in motorsport applications, which are the most demanding real-world oil tests available. The same formulation characteristics that make it valuable for track use, specifically its thermal stability, film strength, and additive longevity, make it equally valuable for high-mileage street applications, where those properties translate directly into reduced long-term wear. Redline earns its premium positioning with chemistry that independent testing validates consistently. The next oil on the best list operates at a similar technical level, but at a price point that makes it accessible to drivers who are not willing to pay premium pricing for every oil change. Number 6 on the best list, Liqui Moly Synthoil High Tech. Liqui Moly is a German engineering-focused oil company whose products are formulated to European performance specifications but are, in most measurable technical categories, more demanding than the American API standards that most of the avoid list brands are formulated to satisfy. A software developer from California with a 2017 BMW 3 Series has run Liquimoli Synthoil High Tech for 5 consecutive drain intervals totaling 60,000 miles. His used oil analysis results have been so consistently clean that his analysis lab asked whether the mileage figures were accurate. They were. Liquimoli brings European engineering discipline to the American oil market. The next oil on the best list is the one that the independent testing community references most frequently when discussing what a genuine Group 4 full synthetic is supposed to look like in laboratory results. Number 5 on the best list, Motul 8-100 Full Synthetic. Motul is a French oil company with over 160 years of formulation history and a motorsport involvement that spans Formula 1, MotoGP, and Le Mans endurance racing. The 8100 product line represents the brand's core passenger vehicle synthetic offering, and its independent test performance is as consistent as any product in the consumer synthetic market. NOAC volatility for Motul 8105 W30 consistently lands between 5 and 6% in independent testing across multiple laboratories and sample batches. The batch-to-batch consistency is itself notable because it indicates a manufacturing process and quality control discipline that produces the same formulation reliably rather than the variability seen in private label and budget-tier products. Motul 8100 delivers motorsport pedigree at everyday prices. The next oil on the best list is one that the commercial fleet industry, which runs higher mileage and more demanding duty cycles than virtually any private vehicle, has relied on for decades as a standard specification for long service interval applications. Number 4 on the best list, Shell Rotella T6 Full Synthetic for the right application. This entry requires the same precision offered when Rotella T6 appeared on the avoid list, because Rotella T6 is simultaneously one of the best oils available for its intended application and one of the most misapplied oils in the enthusiast community. Rotella T6 Full Synthetic uses genuine Group 4 polyalpha olefin base stock and produces NOAC volatility values between 5 and 6.5% in independent testing. The formulation is a legitimate premium synthetic with exceptional film strength, thermal stability, and anti-wear additive concentration that reflects its heavy-duty diesel engineering heritage. Rotella T6 rewards the drivers who understand what it is and punishes those who do not. The next 3 on the best list are the oils, with the most extensive 400,000-mile ownership documentation, the strongest independent test records, and the clearest evidence that genuine Group 4 chemistry produces genuine long-term engine survival. Number 3 on the best list, Castrol Edge Full Synthetic. Despite Castrol's complicated position on the avoid list through the Magnatech product line, Castrol Edge earns its place among the best with a Group 4 and Group 5 blended formulation that independent testing consistently validates at the top tier of consumer synthetic performance. Castrol Edge uses fluid titanium technology, a marketing name for an ester and polyalpha olefin base stock blend, with a reinforced film strength additive package that independent shear stability testing validates as performing better under sustained mechanical shear than most competitor formulations at the same viscosity grade. Castrol Edge proves that the same company can make a product on the avoid list and a product on the best list simultaneously. The next oil has no such complicated history. It has a single product, a single formulation philosophy, and a 400,000-mile ownership record that is documented in more independent forums, analysis databases, and long-haul owner communities than almost any other oil in the consumer market. Number 2. On the best list, Amsoil Signature Series Full Synthetic. Amsoil was the first company to produce and market a synthetic motor oil for passenger vehicles in the United States, introducing its synthetic formulation in 1972, and the formulation philosophy that launched the brand has remained consistent across 5 decades of product development. Signature Series is the flagship expression of that philosophy, and its independent test performance record is the most consistently impressive of any oil in the consumer market. A retired postal worker from Oregon has driven a 2004 Toyota Tacoma to 423,000 miles on Amsoil Signature Series changed every 10,000 miles for the last 280,000 miles of ownership. His most recent used oil analysis at 420,000 miles showed iron wear metals at 12 parts per million and aluminum at 4 parts per million. His analysis lab told him those numbers were consistent with an engine in the 30 to 50,000 mile range. The engine has never been opened internally for any repair. AMSOIL's Signature Series has the most comprehensively documented performance record of any consumer synthetic on this list. Number 1 has a smaller footprint in the consumer market, but the most devoted following among the professional mechanics, lubrication engineers, and long-haul fleet operators who understand oil chemistry at the level where the difference between Group 3 and Group 4 base stock is visible in every analysis result. Number 1 on the best list, Driven Racing Oil HR Series Full Synthetic. Driven Racing Oil is not a household name. You will not find it at Walmart. It does not run television commercials during football games. What it does have is a formulation developed by engineers whose only performance criteria is what actually protects engines under the most demanding conditions available, without any constraint from marketing budgets, retail price targets, or consumer perception management. 3 professional mechanics who collectively maintain over 40 vehicles in personal and commercial fleet use have independently adopted Driven HR Series as their standard specification oil after comparing used oil analysis results across multiple products. One of them, a master technician from Tennessee with 26 years of engine work, told me that Driven is the only consumer synthetic he has used where the used oil analysis results at the end of the drain interval looks similar to what most oils look like at the beginning of theirs. That statement is the clearest possible summary of what genuine Group 4 and Group 5 formulation chemistry does to real-world engine protection across real-world drain intervals. Driven Racing Oil HR Series is not the cheapest oil on this list. It is not the most conveniently available. It is the oil that the people who understand what is inside the bottle and who are serious about making their engines last as long as mechanically possible choose when the marketing noise is removed from the equation entirely. If you learned even one new thing today, hit that like button. It helps more drivers find this information before they find it on a repair invoice. Do not forget to subscribe for more real-world car advice that actually matters. There is a video on your screen right now that will save you even more money and stress under the hood. Click it now on the left, and I will meet you there.